Let's move on to question number 2. We came from Latin America 14 months ago, and my 14-year-old son hasn't spoken at school since the first day. Social anxiety has built up, and he's now scared to go anywhere with us. He's only going to school now 1 to 2 days a week for a couple of hours. He says it's too difficult. School has no idea how to help. So here's my questions. Should I keep pushing him to go to school? He doesn't seem to want to go to therapy, but should I still take him? He's always in his bedroom with the door closed. Would it be a good idea to push him to at least keep the door open? A lot of stuff there.
A lot of stuff. This is a loaded question, right? We could spend an hour just on this question. Here's what I'm thinking. Her son is 14. He was at basically 12 and a half, maybe, let's say, maybe 13 when he came over here. He was speaking most likely a different language. So you're a preteen or teen. You've got your friends. You're used to that environment for your entire life. You're up and lifting to a whole nother country, not even a neighborhood. That's hard enough. You're leaving family. You're leaving friends. You're leaving comfort, connection. And if you already have a predisposition to being selectively mute or socially anxious, you can imagine that this is now literally exponential. So it's a very difficult time to make transitions for children. I mean, think of yourself when you went from elementary to middle school. You may have been in the same school. That was hard enough because it was a new building. But imagine kids that are in elementary school and they go to a whole new building with a bunch of new kids. That's scary. Well, this kid didn't just do that and move across the city. He moved to a different country with a different culture, with a different language. So I'm thinking this is really tough. And this child is now being very avoidant because he feels very, very out of control. So the therapy needs to not only be to help him with his anxiety, his feelings, but also the parents. I'm sure there's a lot more to this question than what the parent is sharing. And I'm sure they're working actively with him. So kudos on that. But what I'm hearing, it sounds like there may be a bit of a misunderstanding to the degree of suffering that this child might be going through. So an outside therapist for sure needs to be involved, but also he may have some resentment towards his parents. He probably had very little say in the move and maybe he's resenting this process. You took me from everything, everybody and everyone I know. Now, this family, I'm not going to get into the dynamics. I don't know this family. Maybe the child was excited to move. And sometimes kids will say they're excited, but when they actually move, they realize, whoa, this is hard. Also, entering into a school at this age with kids that may have known each other for many, many years is also hard. Not only did he leave, but now he's entering. So he's feeling incredibly disconnected. So what needs to be is one, I don't know if he had SM prior to this. It sounds like he did. And it sounds like he has obviously social anxiety. They need to be working with a therapist that really understands their child and can really understand what's going on from a social communication standpoint, an overall anxiety standpoint, but also very sensitive to what's going on, but working very closely with the school. It sounds like because he's got almost this school avoidance, school refusal, really working with the school to see how one, that he can be educated, but how do we transition him in a way that he feels safe and in control? And when I'm working with teens, I'm working actively with them on their involvement in this transition, not just you need to go, you got to go. Monday morning, you got to go. I'm going to give this to you if you go, or it's not, I don't want to ever use the word disrespectful because it sounds wrong, but I've got to really respect where this kid is and involve him in it with us guiding the process so that he feels part of it. And what the parent may be saying is he wants nothing to do with this. He doesn't want to go. We're lost. We don't know what to do. That's where parents need parent coaching and training. So speaking that out through a professional that's familiar with this disorder is really important so the parents can be educated on the sidelines on how to help this child, even without his involvement right now, if he's very much unwilling. Because he's not 5, he's not 6, he's 14. You can't drag him into therapy if he's not ready for it. But we've got to help the parents get him ready for it or train them on how to deal with this and work on helping him get into school by working specifically with the school. And he'll probably need an IEP and he might need some home study and ways to build peer connections. This is a loaded question. I mean, we need to get them connected with peers. We can't just throw them into a big classroom because remember, progress and comfort does not start in a big group. It's Comfort precedes communication, and progress doesn't happen in a big group. So we've got to build connections, build comfort away from the group through the buddy process, through the small groups. There's so many things that can be done. So what I recommend this family does is really seek out help.
So to summarize what you were saying, should I keep pushing him to go to school? Kind of, but also understand and respect where he's at and try and get him treatment. So the answer to the second question, he doesn't want to go to therapy, but I should still take him, right? The answer is yes. And then he's always in his bedroom with the door closed. Should I push him to keep the door open? You didn't really comment on that. Do you want to make a quick comment on that?
I would back that up and say, no, I don't want you to push him to go to therapy if he isn't willing to go. If you
Hmm.
take him to a therapist and he's shut down, I'm saying there's a role for parents. So if the child is very resistant right now, literally digging his heels in, do not push him to go to therapy. What I would do is talk with a therapist yourself as a parent to get some strategies, interventions to help guide the parents to the next steps. It might be that a therapist comes over. There's lots of things we can talk about, but I would not push him and make him do anything until we can be educated as a parent. In addition, talking to the school district about alternative means of schooling and educating and beginning to put the plan in place, even if he is not doing it. And as far as in his room, he's avoidant. He's sitting in his room with the door shut. Kids deserve privacy, but he can't be spending his entire day there and night there. This is where, again, the parents, to me, from this question, need the most support and parent coaching and training.